Hello and welcome to this video. We'll be connecting with my friend Fergus from Ireland, and we just got on a call to talk about something else and got deep into this really real conversation about human suffering and how suppression turns into repression, turns into identity, turns into human suffering. And this is a very powerful conversation. I'm going to bring him on now. And as we wait for him to come on, what's up, brother?
What's up?
We're here. We're here.
Well, now
welcome.
I can see you. I was able to hear you, but now I can just see you fully.
Beautiful.
Let me just get
Cool. As you get ready, I'm just going to talk to our guests. What's up, everybody? Hello, Michelle and Lisa. Hey, I just want everyone that's just tuning in now to just give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you're hearing us okay and the video is good before we get into this conversation. And then also like tune in to this conversation. Please comment, share your perspective, share your opinions. And then when you feel those messages or those words that really resonate with you, share it with your friends, message it to them, and or share it in your Facebook, because I love these conversations to be more of a common thread for the whole world. It's very powerful information. So thank you so much for being a part of it, and we're going to get into this. And thank you, Fergus. Thank you for being on this call. And I want everyone to know Fergus and I just met at the last Tribe Design, and we are going to be partnering and for many future projects. But what I've noticed when I saw you for your first time, we've been connected online for a while, but like in person, brother, like you were shining. Like your light is so bright. And what I connected to was this childlike innocence that I feel in me, and I got to see it in you, and I was like, whoa. And then I noticed this depth and this passion and this courage and this willingness and this vulnerability, and it's just this dynamism of a human being. And I'm just so freaking grateful that we've connected in person. I'm so stoked to continue our relationship and to strengthen our relationship and to be brothers for a lifetime. And so thank you so much. I'm so stoked for this conversation. Please start us off. We just got into this, and it's very powerful what we were talking about. And you were sharing your discovery with me about suppressing or avoiding emotion. Go ahead.
And thank you, Frank Jay. They were amazing words. But I just want to say that this actually leads into what we're talking about as well, is that I've been on a path to be a conscious child and not an unconscious child. An unconscious child is completely going from emotion to emotion. But conscious child is choosing to go into that divine child state, to allow yourself to express fully and to just go from that place. And this leads into, or this comes from, being able to acknowledge your shadow, as you call it, Frank Jay. I call it more resistance, emotional blocks, or something from your culture or something from your family or maybe something from your own that has held you back for so long. That allows you to really go into a state where you're just fully present and able to access any emotion, because it's not suppressed, or it's not been so suppressed that it's been repressed down. And it's really powerful to get to that stage. And sometimes when I meet people, they say to me, you're just going crazy. You're just a big child going around the place. But the thing is, I'm choosing to go into that state. And in the past, I've just been going crazy, like going from this place to this place, and I was completely ungrounded. But once I was able to acknowledge what put me into that state and understand it, then I can choose to go there whenever I want. And it's really powerful to go through inner work to get you to that point.
Yeah, I agree. You know what's interesting? What's been coming up for me recently is like really allowing my inner child and my innocence to come out and to hold it. It's like my inner child has been so scared. And how would I say my inner child? It's more like this innocent part of me, this like this boy that's very joyous and very happy and very rebellious, and it loves so much, and it really impacts people. It's at the core of my life. And in the past, when that part of me was expressing itself, it's been traumatized by adults. been traumatized, like, no, don't do that. No, that's bad. No, that's wrong. Do this. Pay attention. Like, be a part. You got to sharpen up. You got to protect yourself. You got to be careful. Be careful. It's like these types of things obviously are from adults that were trying to protect us and guide us. But I recognize now, when my awareness has been heightened, that I still have those, when I'm starting to push deep levels of presence, which is where my child lies, is in deep levels of presence. These little voices, trauma voices, come up like, don't do that. No, stop. No, you're going to, somehow cause trouble. And now I'm recognizing, and I'm able to like hold it and not betray my heart, like hold my heart so close to me, and just like, hey, you're allowed. This is okay. I'm with you. I'm not going to give over the power to someone else right now. I can still be considerate and loving, but I'm still going to hold you in this place. You're okay. You have permission to play, right? And so that's something personal that I've been experiencing.
Yeah, and it comes from really the conditioning that we've had to like be told, for example, that there's negative emotions, like, as you said, don't cry, don't be angry. These are all things to avoid. But once I realized that these are just all natural parts of me, just as much as joy is, because what I used to do in the past is I used to force a joyful state. I'm happy all the time. I'm positive all the time. But it's just not sustainable, because it's really in those suppressed emotions that you really start to find that power. And I feel that, as you call it, the shadow, once you acknowledge that, and you told me a story before about the monk who's been suppressing and pushing away a shadow for so long until he sits down and has a cup of tea with his shadow and just goes, let's work things out together. And they have a lovely conversation together where they start to work in harmony. Like, loving all those parts of you, loving your shadow is how you overcome it. Not by avoiding. Because that's just going to be stored either in your body or maybe in a different insecurity you have, maybe talking to somebody. And that just keeps staying with you all the time as suppression, as repression, until it's acknowledged and felt.
Please, this is very powerful, what you're saying, and you articulate it in a way that's very profound. And I would love to share the proper story of the monk and the shadow that I learned from my my beloved dear friend Monica Pelayo and shadow coach. So I'll share that in a moment, but please articulate what you were saying. So first of all, an experience happens, an emotion happened, then it's suppressed, and then it goes into repression, and then it goes into what did we call it, identity, and then into human suffering. So can you kind of share that timeline from literally an emotional moment, and why somebody suppresses it? Why do you think someone represses it and suppresses it, and then it goes so far to then they repress it to the point that they don't find the source anymore, and they get lost in this behavior and in this, oh, this is just how my life is, this is who I am, right? So please share us that timeline of when the initial trauma happens to this person gets lost in the thinking that's actually who they are rather than feeling their emotion.
Yeah, for sure. So what I see it, I'll talk about it from an example point of view, because I can talk about the theory of it, but really a real world example that I've experienced and that somebody very dear to me has experienced as well is depression, for example. And I feel that depression is just repressed sadness, something that can't be acknowledged. And say, for example, in your own life, I'll take it from your own life, that somebody's died in your life, maybe somebody very close to you, and you're sad because of that. But you're told by other people, don't be sad, because we need you to stay strong. We need you to just pick your head up and keep going. That's basically telling the person, avoid that sadness, because I want you to take responsibility for me. And then that builds up to a point where you can't express that sadness, so your body compensates. So, for example, you might see a lot of people who have a lot of sadness or depression, rounded shoulders down like this, and that's basically the body trying to compensate for that emotion. And what it gets to then is that you forget so much about the emotion that really wanted to be felt in that moment, that it just gets shown up in the body, and that becomes repression then. And you get to a point where loads of disempowering things start to happen in your life, all because this emotion is not felt fully. And this becomes repressed to the point where you're saying, this is what my life is right now. And then it's like so fixated and so limited to be like, that's it. This is the way my life looks like now. I'm just sad. I just walk around with this depression.
I'm a sad person. I'm depressed. I need help. I need my biochemistry in my mind is imbalanced. I need to take pills. There's something wrong with me. What's wrong with me? Oh, I'm just a depressed person.
And then coupled with all the disempowering education that we've received as well, that we're told by, say, for example, somebody in the medical community that it is depression, and take these pills to keep avoiding, to numb your sensations so it's not felt again. And I feel that's so detrimental to what really is happening and what's really going on. That what it is just repressed emotion. And I've had people, I've coached people where I've seen they've had so, and literally a simple thing as pushing back their shoulders back into alignment makes them cry instantly. All this emotion starts to come out. And it's just by releasing the neurological holding pattern that's held that sadness for so long.
Wow.
And it's so powerful because after that happens, then things start to click, your alignment starts to click, and you're
clear,
back
you
into
cleanse.
a person who's just, back into that release and back into a person who's just able to see what's going on now. Their cognition isn't focused on the emotion that's disempowering them. And they can take action, they can craft a vision, they can go towards something now because all
present.
the disempowering truth has gone away.
They're present. They move back into the presence. And the presence is powerful because it's energetic weight, right? It's energetic weight. And so when it's able to be felt, it's so interesting because I was talking to a friend earlier today and she was coaching somebody and the girl that she was coaching started to cry. And she felt safe enough to cry for as long as she has remembered. And she cried and then she felt a shift. Just because she felt safe enough to cry. Now, this is a woman that felt like, and this is a common thing, that it's like a bad thing to cry. And they wipe their tears. Oh, no, they wipe their tears. And rather than like feeling the liquid in their body and like allowing, and I think the one of the core issues in human suffering that I think could deserve a lot more investigation is this avoidance of feeling pain. This fear of feeling pain. Or feeling in general, because feeling is so intense, but yet it's so liberating when we acknowledge it. When we acknowledge it, it actually has just the ability of acknowledging pain or an emotion or a feeling with or without a story attached to it. It could be totally, I don't know why I'm feeling this, and not making it wrong. Just allowing what is coming up to be felt has the power to shift it in a whole different way. And it's so fantastic. And just like, I really want to make that clear. It's like not making it wrong, whether it's joy or whether it's sadness, whether it's pain or whether it's sexual desire, whether it's whatever the emotional spectrum is, just it is here. And it's something to be held. And what my friend Monica, the shadow coach, would be like, she'd be like, bring the sexual desire here. Bring the afraid to cry here and hold it. Bring it next to you. And like, give it space to be there. And in the being there, it's just like bringing the shadow, having a cup of tea with your demon. And then they're like, well, what do you have to teach me? And that's all I wanted. What I wanted to acknowledge, and then something integrated and power filled the being, because now fear has been transmuted into presence, and there's a new feeling that emerges from within this human being. Now, pain is a great teacher, emotion is a great teacher, and it's our job to give it space to be present, to be heard, to be listened to, because these might be aspects of ourselves that have been betrayed by our own ignorance and by the influence of our outside world. So it's like our little aspects of ourselves trying to come back and like, hey, come. I'm like, remember me. Can you hold me?
And the thing is, it all comes, as you said, like, it all comes from listening. So you do this as well. Like, I've seen you do this when we met, and I do this as well, where I used to feel different resistance going on in my body, and I'd be like, oh, avoid that, run away from that. And now something's coming up that I've gone through so much inner work myself that, like I was discussing with you earlier, that I went through a huge emotion to do with my heart. And once I start to listen to that, I'm like, oh, what is that? And start to tune in, and tune in through breath. Just literally slow down, because go, oh, my heart's racing. Oh no, my heart's racing, and your body will give you the signals of what that is related to, almost every time, because your body is always working for you. That is the truth. And you can have the disempowering thoughts or the disempowering stories that you were told from an external, but once it's listened to from the internal, once your body, like say your liver, for example, that represents anger, once you start listening to that and feeling that suppressed emotion or repressed emotion, it all starts to come out, and it all starts to be on show. And that's part of being vulnerable. And I've looked at a lot of Adam Roa, like he's a huge inspiration to me as well. Once you show your vulnerability, that is a permission slip for other people to show that vulnerability too. Like, when you're crying in public, like I've cried in front of loads of different people. I've been angry in front of people. And they would tell me, like, oh, don't cry or don't be angry. But that's just a part of me. I'm just expressing what's coming up for me in that moment. And as you said, none of it's wrong. It's just what I'm feeling right now. And I hear a lot like, oh, I was really happy yesterday, but I'm not happy today. And that's kind of seen as a bad thing. But you're just having a day of lessons, maybe. Maybe you're just feeling more emotion. Maybe you're just feeling pain that's going on that wants to be listened to. Like, not every day is going to be la-di-da, perfect. Oh, everything's happening, everything's amazing. There's going to be moments where pain's going to come up. And love that pain just as much as you love that joy. And you will just connect more and more with that truth, and things will start to manifest from that. I'm telling you, it really happened for me in my life. And it's the reason I'm talking to Frank Jay on a camera right now. It's the reason that I went to Tribe Design. It's the reason I'm creating videos, is because I'm listening to what my body's telling me.
Whew. Body is so wise. There's a quote, I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's like, the body is wiser than, like I can't even think of it, but it's just like, it's wiser than any amount of books and any amount of knowledge, any amount of life experience, even in itself. It's the body has so much information in it. It is literally the temple of God to me. It's the temple of God, is where my spirit is residing. And I feel like there's such a, it's so beautiful. The body is so freaking beautiful. And you know what? I really want to convey the message here and remind us all that, like, just because we're in a body doesn't mean we're in the body. Just because we're in a body doesn't mean we're in the body. And the mind is very potent in creating imagination. So it creates these illusionary worlds and identities. And when one has a lot of fear in their heart and is avoiding to feel that fear, then the point of reference goes up into the mind solely. And so the illusion, because that's what the mind does, it creates illusions. That's how we create our world. And it's powerful because it literally will project an illusion and then has the potentiality to make that illusion physical. So the mind's powerful, but it's not the source of who we are. So when we're only in the mind solely, there's always almost a residue of pain and a residue of suffering. Not just pain, but suffering. Because there's like searching, this imagination, is that me? No. Is that imagination me? No. Is this imagination me? No. But, you know, so it's this endless circuit. And so when one starts to go through an initiation and they develop themselves as a human being, there's a lot of pathways. And I've been on many of those pathways. And one of those pathways is to use the mind solely to manifest my life. Use the mind solely to avoid anything negative and only focus on the light. And that got me that got me ahead of the game in a certain season. And then I realized the true inner work, though, if I really want to up level in my consciousness, is going to be in the body. It can't, this only goes so far. And then as we start to travel downward, the fall in love, down to the heart and down to the body, you realize how the body and the heart has been portrayed for so long, unconsciously, unknowingly. It's like, oh my gosh, this hurts so bad. I don't think I can do it. I can go back in the mind. But it's like, if you just start building your capacity to be in your heart, building the capacity to feel your body and to feel all the different sensations and the pains and the memories that come back when you're in the body, and like just have the capacity to love and say, I'm sticking with you, I'm staying with you, I'm going to feel you, I'm going to be with you, I'm going to hold space with you. All this like shadow starts to come up. And remember, if you're able to be in the shadow is always the birth of wisdom. And then it starts to rest. And I'm not sure if you felt this, Fergus, but like as I start going more and more into my heart, then I start feeling the warmth of my heart without someone else causing that. It's not like I'm in love with someone or romance or anything. It's just I'm feeling pure love and physical sensation in my heart and expansion. And it's been such a powerful gift. My sexuality has changed because now my root, my sex is connected to my heart. My mind and how I conduct myself as a human is connected to my heart. And it's like, this is the source of my being. It's the queen of my ship. And that means that it's like, this is how I decipher what is my truth. And my life has turned out very beautiful because I had been able to go through that initiation. And I'm going to tell you something right now, it was not fun and it was not hard. And I wasn't always courageous. It took me a long time, and I'm still going through heart initiation. The body is an endless journey of deeper and deeper and deeper truths.
Yeah, for sure. It never stops. Like, I go through inner work every single day. Like, even though I coach people through their internal blocks and through their emotional resistance, I still go through that stuff all the time. Like, I'm constantly looking to upgrade because I know what manifests from that. And if I'm proactive from that point, or I can connect with my truth, for example, and then I can do nothing and just wait for things to happen, or I can be proactive from that place. And that is all, like, I'm happy you connected the thoughts with the body, because they're all connected. Like, every thought that comes up, or as you call it, the mind, is that it's just all to be listened to. Even if it's an empowering thought or it's a disempowering thought, we don't know until we get a signal from the body saying, oh, that's true, oh, that's not true. Like, for example, if I have a lot of resistance in my stomach and I think that I'm hungry, but really it's related to me being worried about something. Do you know when you have that pit in your stomach?
Yeah.
And it's just listening. It's rather than just going, oh, food straight away. No, go and get food. Just listen. It could not be food. And when you listen to what it's actually saying, just stop, breathe, and go, am I hungry, or am I just trying to avoid this worried feeling that I'm having? And then once that happens, your thoughts just work in sync then with what's happening, because it's all part of the brain, and the brain's controlling the whole nervous system, and it knows what's going on. And it allows just synchronicity between the two, between your heart and your gut and your thoughts and your brain and all parts of you, and they're all parts of love.
It's like a harmonic rhythm. It's what I think all the ancient texts point the finger to is like this wholeness as a human being, the harmonic coherence of the mind, heart, and gut and sex, right? It's like this, everything is working in unison. And whoa, a power of a human being. And what we're getting to is by allowance, by acceptance, by not making it wrong, by giving it space, by building your capacity to feel, becoming a human feeling again, and feeling life, right? Feeling into it. Rather than judging it and making it an absolute thought form, it's like, yeah, that's okay, that's part of it, but also, like, what does it feel like? What's this feeling? What's the information coming from this feeling? And so this has been such a powerful conversation, man. And I'm just so appreciative that we took the time today to do this conversation live, and we were able to serve and by transmitting this. communication for all of y'all that are listening. And just thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of it. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share this forward. And please, if you haven't known Fergus, please check out his work. He's a powerful creator through video and a powerful coach and many other things as well. He's just one of those unique human beings. So please follow his work, and just love y'all so much. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Fergus.
Aligned in the chakras, as Tyson says.
Catch a wave, brother. Flow state. Peace and love.
Perfect. Love you, Frank.
Love you. Ciao.